Welcome back to Sport Lab, your go-to place for all things football. In today's breakdown, we're focusing on a dramatic Premier League clash between Manchester United and AFC Bournemouth. A match filled with plenty of action, a red card, and a dramatic last-minute equaliser. Let's get into it.
Get that goal in the final, especially considering the circumstances after the red card?
Was 1 point. I think we could do better in these kind of situations. We create chances, but sometimes we need to do better near the box. But yeah, 1 point.
Yeah, when you say do better near the box, do you mean be more composed or more accurate or create more big chances? Where did you see? Because it was quite a different game from the Wolves match last week.
It's small things. Then we have to understand even the foot that is in the play, the way we cross, the better one crossing, the better one driving the ball, the better one against one outside, and we need to understand the game in that way. So I think if we understand the position better, we can create more chances. But today we push the opponent, especially with the sent off. We had the chances, but again we didn't score.
So it's more a matter of those final choices in the final third. Is more a matter of reading the spaces that you need to attack.
Yes, understanding the teammate, and then against 10 players we can push the opponent before we attack to control transitions. And sometimes we are putting the ball without any pressure, long balls, and these small things make the difference because it stop the game. One throw win, one goal kick. Stop the game. So we need to be better.
You've been saying that it's not only about Rasmus Højlund scoring, but of course there is a bigger expectation on the striker to score goals. So what do you expect this goal to do for him in terms of confidence coming to these big games that you have in the semi-final?
It's always important for a striker to score goals, but again, when we look at the game as a striker, it's not just goals. Of course, that is really important and massive, can change the game, of course. And it's a good boost. But the next game is a new history and we have to go again.
Yeah. What do you expect the team to take from this match? Because before the game, we were talking about intensity and how you want to raise the levels of energy and intensity.
Team fought to get that point in added time. How do you reflect on that performance?
It was tough in the beginning, high intensity pressure from the opponent. We had some difficulties there, but then during the game we were improving. We had our opportunities, we didn't score. But then in second half, especially with the sense of we pushed the opponent to their own half, who create situations, and we managed to save a point. But I think if you look at the game, we lost 2 points.
We do make it difficult for ourselves sometimes, but when you look at the urgency that we had in those final moments, it shows that the belief that we consistently talk about this year, that is still in that squad, that they'll fight and they're never going to stop, is what the fans sing.
Yeah, is the least that we can do, especially this season. So we try to win every game, but if you look at our games, it's always a little bit our fault, the way the opponent get the advantage, and then it's really hard to turn things around. But in the end, we managed to score one goal. The feeling is not the same, of course, but we want to do better.
And you mentioned that a goal added to Rasmus Højlund's tally. What does that do for him as a player? How much confidence does it give him?
It's always important for a striker to score a goal, but it's just one goal. So Thursday we have a huge, massive game for us. So he needs to be fresh and ready to play and to score another.
As you said there, it's full steam ahead to these huge 2 weeks that this club has. What is the plan for the next few days to recover quickly ahead of that game?
It's like that, to use everything that we have in Carrington. They have to eat well, sleep well. We have to see the opponent. We have to understand what we can do better. These teams are quite similar in the high pressure, the way they press. So it was a good game for prepare one of the most important games in our season.
More painful viewing for Manchester United fans, and yet another Premier League goal for Antoine Semenyo, who you're a big fan of.
I am, yeah. I've really enjoyed watching him this season. That's the 9th goal I think he scored this season, Steve, which is his best season, with a little bit to go as well. Manchester United here trying to play out from the back. They get nabbed, and Semenyo with a great strike to finish, but I mean,
this is not playing out from the back, this is
not,
it?
Is it?
I mean, this is possibly the worst example of trying to play out to the back that you'll see in a while. And Arna going backwards to Luke Shaw, who then puts Dorgu in all kinds of pressure with a 5-yard awful pass, and they get rightly punished. I mean, I don't know whose idea it is to play out like this. If it's the managers he needs talking to, if it's the goalkeepers he needs hitting, because it's an atrocious way of giving the opposition leeway and getting them on top in a game like this.
And listen to this. That is the 21st time in the Premier League this season that Manchester United have gone a goal down.
Yeah, and unnecessary.
Yes.
They're in possession of the ball. They're not good enough to do that at the moment. They're not good enough to do that. I understand, the manager wanted to play out eventually, but play on the ball onto the wrong foot. Luke Shaw then playing the ball into somebody that's got no chance of going anywhere. Just knock it down the line, go back to the goalkeeper. Anything but that. They've just encouraged it.
Steve, I bet you they don't score. They may score one goal a season by playing out from the goalkeeper all the way through the park and scoring.
Exactly.
And I bet you they concede about 10.
Let's have a look at the one and only chance they had, really. Alejandro Garnacho towards the end of that first half. He probably, again, looks their most likely source if there is one.
Yeah, and the most creative aspect of Manchester United for a long time has been this guy, hasn't he? Bruno Fernandes. And that's a beautiful ball. And it doesn't get the credit it deserves. You don't focus on the pass because it ends up wide. Garnacho, listen, the goalkeeper saves it, so you can't be too critical. But he probably, because it's set up nice, the lob had to be, I mean, it's easy to say, the lob had to be higher just to take the goalkeeper out of the equation.
Yeah, not much more he could do really in terms of his choice. The ball's high, he can't do anything but try to lob him. As Maka said, it's just the execution. But just going back to it, I mean, how easy Manchester United give goals away. If they're going to score here, they'll have to work hard for a goal. I mean, it's hard scoring goals in the Premier League, and then you just give, goals away like that, and then a great ball there from Bruno Fernandes. And as I say, to score a goal, you've got to do something unbelievably good, break somebody down. And to give away a goal, it's just mind-numbing.
OK, halfway to a big win for Bournemouth. Manchester United,
Last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. We was putting them under a lot of pressure. But like I said, we had 10 men. But I'd rather we had 8 shots and scored 2 goals.
Yeah, 6 of those.
We've got to be more clinical. There's no point having all the shots and not scoring the goals. It's just, you don't win games by.
How many, Fraser, how many world-class saves did Kepa make in the second half? How many saves did he make?
Yeah, he made a few saves.
But, saves he should have saved.
Yeah, not world-class ones.
No.
You got to be
just doing his job, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Doing his job, yeah. But you know what I mean? I mean, as I say, I thought we dominated second half play and we created a few chances, but with the clear-cut chances, Alan, that's what I'm trying to say. We should be creating more for me, and we should be scoring more, and we're not at the minute. But a point's a point today, because can you imagine going to Bilbao, losing that game?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, we would have been hammered.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see what he does with that team, especially for the likes of Luke Shaw playing 99 minutes in the end today. I think we'd said at half-time, he might only get 60 to 70 minutes, have a bit of a rest in his legs.
Yeah, especially with him saying, it was a bit of a risk for Luke to be starting today. You'd have thought that. I thought he would be playing on Thursday, so for him to play 99 minutes today, it might be a bit of a ask for him to play again on Thursday. But we've got Harry Amas, who's done brilliantly so far. Maybe he'll get the nod. Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see who plays.
We did talk about intensity at half-time. Sammy, did you see more of that in the second half?
Second half we came out, we moved the ball quicker, we passed it better, and we upped our game, no doubt about it. And as I say, we were well in the game. We probably had more play in the second half. Bournemouth, I know, hit the post with a free kick, but other than that, it was mostly what United were doing with the ball. And as I say, just that final third just keeps letting us down at the end of it. But we did enough in the game to come out with something, which we did today.
Yeah, and so did they. That is the first time Bournemouth have hit the 50-point mark in their history in the Premier League. So they'll be pleased with getting a point today. Yeah,
we said before the game, didn't we, that they'd been on such a good run up until January time, and they dropped off a little bit of late. But, on a whole, I think they'll be very happy with how the season's progressed for them.
Well, if they win, Fraser, they could have won 8th. For Bournemouth to be 8th.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable.
They've got aspirations of going in Europe, which is, you wouldn't think, you might not have thought that at the start of the season. So yeah, they've had a good season.
and they play some good football.
Let's talk red cards. I think you both agree that the first one probably was more of a red card than the second one, but the second one did get given on a challenge against Mazraoui. Were you surprised about that one, Sammy?
I mean, we could look at it, Helen, as we did, and the lad did slip into the tackle.
Yeah, you see his left foot kind of going beneath him.
His left foot, definitely, but his legs did come up and they clattered him, there's no doubt about it, and they looked at it, and I thought to myself, I said to Fraser, the time this is taking, and if he goes to the screen, they're going to send him off, which they did. But I actually think the first one was worse than the second one, and I just thought he evened up there. I thought VAR and the referee evened up the first one not being a sending off, that he had to send him off.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
It was only surprising for me, the second one, because he didn't give the first one. He didn't even go look at the screen, did he, to review it. And I thought the first one was more of a red card than the second one. So I think that's the problem people have got with VAR, it's the inconsistency. One week it's a red, 1 week it's not, and then 2 in one game where one should have been a red probably and the other one is.
Equally, when we go to 10 men at 70 minutes, you would hope that we would go on and take the 3 points. Really,
absolutely.
Sammy.
I thought the manager as well, I mean, he brought attacking players on, he brought the big lad Obi on, who had a chance, by the way, just didn't connect it properly, but he was round about the goal and he looks a dangerous lad. Hopefully he'll have a big future here. I just thought maybe the substitutions for me might have been a wee bit sooner with the forward players, because we were the ones who were going to have all the ball, and you get your creative players on like Ericsson, Mount came on and did okay. I just thought maybe a wee bit sooner for me, but as I say, that's the manager's decision, and we came away with something.
We did talk a lot about Mount before the game. What did you make of the performance he put out there today?
Yeah, it was positive. Everything that you'd expect from him over the years. It was high energy. He put his body around the pitch. He had a chance right at the end that was, he was unlucky not to score. But yeah, I think we just need to give him a bit of time. Hopefully he stays injury free and he can, bring his best game to United, because I think he's a quality player. We've just not had a chance to see him.
He needs to run a game, Alan.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Unfortunately, we don't have many left, do we?
Oh, that's true. Exactly.
Right, guys, let's head down to
Manchester United salvage a point in added time, and I mean, what a way to do it. They've shown some fight, didn't they, in those final moments?
Yeah, I think late goals are the order of the day at the moment, and to grab another one today was brilliant to see. Obviously, to get back in the game, to grab the equaliser, it was tough, to be honest. It wasn't a classic performance by any stretch of the imagination, but again, to keep going, to keep digging in, and then to get that goal in. And I'm so happy for Højlund, who worked so hard but just hasn't got the breaks in front of goal recently. So to grab that late goal is going to do him the world of good going into the game on Thursday.
It is indeed. And you look back at this performance, as you said there, it's not a performance to shout about, that's for sure, but the way that we salvage a point really tells this team that if you fight, you will get the point.
Without a doubt, it's a great trait to have. It's a trait this club's had throughout the years, and to stay in games, to grab late goals is so important. I think it was a very different game in the second half. I think Bournemouth dropped very deep even before the red card, then obviously after the red card dropped even deeper, and it was hard. Obviously we made a lot of changes, tried it slightly different with two up top, and in the end it bared fruit by getting players into the box. Ugarte getting into the box, slightly scuffed shot, but there was Højlund sort of deflect it in, so grabbed the point. Maybe you'd say it was a deserved point in the end, because I don't think Bournemouth offered anywhere near as much in the second half, and we certainly controlled large periods of the second half.
Bournemouth did certainly drop off after that red card, and in your opinion, was it a red card first of all?
I think it was a hard one. I don't think there was malice in it. Like we spoke in the first half about people slipping, and I'm not sure if he had a little slip. It did look like a really untidy and could have been a dangerous tackle. Fortunately, it didn't cause any sort of serious injury, but it's hard to say whether as soon as the referee goes to have a look, you know what's coming next, and that's a red card, isn't it?
And especially there was lots of roars in this stadium when it comes to both dugouts. It seemed like both dugouts agreed with how inconsistent the officiating was today.
Yeah, I think the fans behind that stand certainly made their thoughts clear to the referee. But it's the hardest job in the world, being a ref, isn't it? You're never going to get any credit for it. They make some good decisions, some bad ones, but I think it was quite even for both teams in terms of what the game looked like today.
It was a tough game. The start of the game was hard for us. High pressure from the opponent. We lose some possessions in our build up, and the goal is like that. And if you look at our games, it's always a little bit our fault the way we suffer goals, and then everything is so much harder to do. But if you look at the game, especially second half, and especially with the sent off, we arrange ways to get inside the box, and that is something that we are improving. We create chances. We managed to score one, but I feel that we lost two points today.
You mentioned West against on the formations. There was a lot of conversation with you and the players. Was that because they weren't quite sure exactly where to go on the pitch?
When?
After the substitutions towards the end of the game, you and Rasmus, you and Bruno. Lots of communication, really.
Yeah, well, it was just to adapt, and you can see it that we change a lot of players in positions that they never played. So it was just a way to not a tactical aspect, it was just to also to understand the players that it will have extra time. So if you suffer a goal in transition, you lose your head. You have more 10 minutes. But if they score one goal in transition, 1-against-1, could kill the game. So these small things, not so much tactical aspect.
How's Matt Shrewsbury came out after about 4 minutes after the tackle that led to the?
I think
is he okay?
Yeah, I think he's okay. Yeah, he will be ready. But in these kind of situations, in this moment, anything that could be a danger for a player that in one position we lost Dalot, we try to save that.
And obviously, that you were keen to not get injuries going into the game on Thursday. What were your views on the tackle on Garnacho in the first half and on the tackle that led to the red card second half?
No, nothing to say. It's Premier League, and we need to play like that because it's the way we want the game. And sometimes things happen, but I have nothing to say about that.
That could be a big goal for Højlund personally. Was it always your intention to keep him on stage, to give him as much time as possible to possibly?
I see the trainings, I see the way they behave, the way they want to improve. I see the games also. And I try to put the best 11 to win games. That's all. Of course, I want to support my players. I was a player, and sometimes you have bad moments, difficult moments in a big club. So I think it was a good moment for him, but it's just a goal. Let's focus on Thursday.
And just on your short, was the plan all along for him to have 90 minutes today?
Was not the plan to have 90 minutes, but then when you need to win games. So and you can feel it that it was like overload in that part of the field. He's really good on crosses. He's really good in the final third, the decision. He has a lot of quality, and in this when we are losing and drawing, you don't think about the next game. You need to win. I was not focused on the next game.
Ruben, either today or at some point Liverpool will get their 20th title, which will bring them level with Manchester United. The fans sang about it today. A lot of them are kind of pessimistic about what's going to happen over the next few years. I realise you can only deal with now, but how do you feel what you're trying to achieve is kind of bedding in that gives the hope that United can at least challenge?
The first thing is to focus on ourselves and not in the other teams. The next thing is to be really honest. We are in the different levels in this moment, but then explain that everything can change. And I remember when I started seeing Premier League was the opposite. So everything can change. So we need to focus and step by step, not trying to think too far ahead. We have a ultimate goal that is winning the Premier League. And again, I'm not crazy. I know that it's not going to be next year, but we are trying to build something. And the small things are really important, and we did that during this year. We need to improve next year. But I know that is important for the fans. We know that, but we need to be honest with them and to work hard every day.
Højlund did do well to get on the score sheets there, but there are still rumours about bringing in a striker for the summer. But with Højlund being 22, Xerxes 23 and Chido 17, what's your opinion about bringing in a more experienced striker closer to the finished article to maybe mentor the others?
we have a lot of things to do in still this season, and we are focused on. We like our strikers. We are improving our strikers. We'll see what happens in the next season. But in this season, Josh cannot play. Shido is not in the list, unfortunately, for the Europa League. Has the Premier League games to win every minute to work on, and Rasmus is scoring. So we'll see Thursday.
Alessandro Martinez earlier this season said about having that mentality. How do you instill that within this crop of players when every manager since Sir Alex has failed to do so?
Do the things that I believe, and then work hard every day, and then like today. When things are hard, we have to push.
The Vitality Stadium hosted a thrilling match on Sunday, where AFC Bournemouth took on Manchester United. Bournemouth were the first to strike, with a deserved goal in the 23rd minute. The Cherries pressed high up the pitch, forcing a mistake from United's defence. Adam Smith dispossessed Patrick Dorgu, leading to a clever flick from Evanilson that set up Antoine Semenyo, who made no mistake, powering it past Andre Onana to give Bournemouth the lead. Manchester United started to grow into the game after going behind, creating a couple of decent chances. Alejandro Garnacho was denied by a smart save from Kepa Arrizabalaga after his chipped shot caused some confusion in the Bournemouth defence. United looked for an equaliser, but the first half ended with Bournemouth holding on to their 1-0 lead. The second half saw more chances for both sides. Semenyo came close to doubling his tally, and Dango Ouattara rattled the post with a clever free kick. But the match took a significant turn in the 70th minute. Bournemouth's Evanilson was shown a yellow card for a two-footed challenge on Noussair Mazraoui. However, after a VAR review, the decision was upgraded to a red card, leaving Bournemouth with 10 men for the final 20 minutes of the match. With the numerical advantage, Manchester United turned up the pressure. Mason Mount had a shot blocked by Marcos Senesi, and Bruno Fernandes saw his effort graze the side netting. United continued to push, but it wasn't until the 6th minute of stoppage time that they finally found their breakthrough. In the dying moments of the game, Rasmus Højlund emerged as the hero for Manchester United. The Danish forward pounced on Manuel Ugarte's effort and bundled the ball into the net from close range, scoring his 4th Premier League goal of the season and securing a dramatic 1-1 draw. In the end, both teams will have mixed feelings about the result. Bournemouth will feel disappointed after defending well for most of the match but failing to hold on in stoppage time. The draw leaves them in 10th place, still within reach of the top half of the table. As for Manchester United, they'll be relieved to have salvaged a point, but they'll know they need to improve as they look ahead to their UEFA Europa League semi-final against Athletic Bilbao. Bournemouth's attacking play was encouraging, but the red card proved to be a turning point. United will take the point but must be sharper in future encounters if they want to push for a higher position in the Premier League. That wraps up our match breakdown for today. Thanks for tuning in to Sport Lab. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more football analysis and updates. We'll see you next time.